Hello, friends, and namaste. Welcome back to the Sacred Space with me, your host Preetha Lal, as we spend time reading the book Eternal Values for a Changing Society by the late Srimad Swami Ranganathanandaji. As you are aware, if you're following this podcast, Swami Ranganathananda was the 13th president of the Ramakrishna Matan mission, but he was also so much more. He was a scholar par excellence, a spiritual ambassador, a philosopher, and a teacher. This multi-volume treatise that I have decided to read to you through this podcast is a true testament to the breadth of his knowledge and the depth of his wisdom. Today we will conclude this chapter with the concepts of desire and desirelessness, and Swamiji ties it all beautifully to Arjuna's humility and submission to his divine friend, philosopher and guide, and guru, Sri Krishna. It may be of interest to know that these lectures were delivered in Sindh, which is currently in Pakistan, during the months of February and March in 1946, a year before India's independence. Let us begin. Desire and desirelessness. Desire in the heart of an individual is, from the psychological point of view, in the nature of a craving for fulfillment. Every one of our desires is prompted by a vacuum in our heart that seeks for fulfillment. All desire, therefore, signifies a vacuum in our heart. It requires an action outside to satisfy it. There are thus two stages preceding every action. First, there is the feeling of want within, an urge that seeks satisfaction. This urge takes the form of a desire for a corresponding object that is capable of conferring this satisfaction. And lastly, there is the action for the satisfaction of the urge. Psychology lists about 14 primary urges of the human being, like hunger, sex, and so forth. Taking the most familiar one of hunger, for instance, we find its three stages in 1. The urge within, 2. The desire for an external object, 3. The act of appropriating that object. The last stage, or the act, ends in the fulfillment of the urge. When the stomach is full, there is no hunger, there is no desire for food, and there is no corresponding activity to satisfy that urge. Activity, therefore, is conditioned by the urge within and the desire for the corresponding object without. In the absence of the urge, there will be no desire and no activity. Life is a round of activity because the heart is a volcano of urges and desires. If you can conceive of a hypothetical state of existence where these urges and desires are not there, you get a state free from all desire-ridden activities as well. Vedanta speaks of a state of perfection free from craving or desire and desire-prompted activity. This desirelessness or akamata comes from atmakamata, or the desire for the Atman. Lest we mistake this state for emptiness of heart and death, Vedanta adds a third important characteristic feature of this state, which connotes the fullness of being, or aptakamata. The tranquil mind without any desire is compared to a beautiful calm lake without a single ripple in it. The tranquility of the lake is disturbed by the throwing of a stone into it. The desires that arise in our mind cause waves in it. In ordinary life, the mind is never calm except in deep sleep. Through meditation and self-control, we have to capture this calmness as a feature of our waking state. Even a bit of this tranquility is a great asset in our daily lives. What to speak of the value and power of the fullness of tranquility attained by a perfected soul? He is a teacher par excellence, an ocean of motiveless compassion. Ahetuka Daya Sindhu. His compassion flows in a steady stream to tranquilize the world. There is no self-interest to check it. It just overflows its bounds and seeks to tranquilize the minds of others around. It wants to impart its tone to others around it, to those who are confounded and confused. He works without any motive. The flow of his love does not depend upon anything on our part. There is no artificial attempt. It simply overflows spontaneously. That mercy shows no kind of contractual relationship. He is a friend of all who resort to him. Such a guru will be our unfailing friend because whatever he does will be only for our good. Shankara exhorts us to take shelter under such a person if we can get one. Such a teacher can really do something to lift us up. But unfortunately, such teachers are far and few in between. Surrendering to anyone less than such is fraught with danger. And therefore, it is good for us to learn to depend upon ourselves till we secure the shelter of such a guide. But then we can get help from lesser guides also. We can take lessons from any and everybody provided we have a dynamic mind. A dynamic mind takes lessons from everything in nature. Everything in nature is a source of wisdom to such a person. For him, every rock and brook is a guru. It is best, therefore, to learn to depend upon one's own clear understanding. To surrender one's independence to lesser gurus is absolutely foolish. Vedanta does not permit it. But in the case of Arjuna, it was his good fortune that he was able to get a universal teacher like Sri Krishna. Arjuna's Atma Samarpanam. So Arjuna takes refuge in him. In our case, Sri Krishna may not come in flesh and blood and whisper to us in inaudible or audible language, but his teachings come to us in clear accents. Short of his presence in flesh and blood, we have recourse to his teaching and have every other advantage. Again, humility is an essential condition for the acquisition of wisdom. It may not be so much necessary for worldly wisdom, but even there it is necessary to a certain extent. But when you come to spiritual knowledge, it is absolutely necessary. The little ego has to go. Arjuna's humility was born of strength, and so his humility is true humility. Such occasions do come to all, for when he or she feels the stress and strain of circumstances and the whole personality bows down and asks in a mood of supplication for wisdom. Arjuna is in such a mood when he is asking Sri Krishna in all humility to guide him. Arjuna is in the right mood for the seed of advice to sprout and bear fruit. In the absence of this humility and earnestness, ethical and spiritual quests lose their fruit-bearing power. All idle quests are sterile. A person while passing by the road flings an idle question, "Is there God?" and does not even wait for an answer. He is indifferent. For him, the question has no meaning. In the case of most people, questions regarding God and the spiritual life belong to this category. Without the backing of earnestness, questions and their answers lose their vitality and fruit-bearing power. The value of a teaching is heightened by the interest you take in the subject. In the case of Arjuna, it was a burning question with him. Arjuna's question is born out of the crucible of the moral struggle. This vitality of the question makes for the tenfold vitality of the answer. Wisdom removes ignorance and delusion. Thus begins the teaching of the Gita. The problem that is presented is a problem of confusion resulting from the conflict of moral duties. The wisdom that is imparted in the answer is meant to remove that confusion. Did Sri Krishna's teaching remove the confusion in Arjuna's mind? Only if it did does it deserve our reverential acceptance. In the case of Arjuna, we can very well say that the imparting of wisdom on the part of Sri Krishna did in fact remove the confusion in his mind. In the 18th chapter, Sri Krishna asks Arjuna, as referred to earlier, "Has this been heard by thee, O Partha, with an attentive mind? Has the delusion of thy ignorance been destroyed, O Dhananjaya?" And Arjuna answers, "Destroyed is my delusion, and I have gained my memory through thy grace, O Achyuta. I am firm, my doubts are gone. I will do thy bidding." How can doubts go without right knowledge? Doubt that is creative is the mother of all knowledge, and with the rising of knowledge, doubts are destroyed. This is the function of philosophy in relation to life. Life raises problems at every step. The mind is assailed by doubts and confusion. We turn to the wisdom of philosophy as to a lamp for guidance. Every individual is the possessor of a little wisdom that helps him to negotiate life's placid waters. But this little wisdom and light fails us when storms and stresses set in. It is then that the human mind seeks for a steadier light and asks the question, is there a better light? A light that will not flicker, that will be of use in every circumstance. We want a steadier wisdom that will stand us in all circumstances of life. Philosophy is the pursuit of that wisdom that is itself steady and that helps to steady our feet in the midst of life's slippery path. We want the guidance of a steady wisdom to steer the bark of life through the tempests of circumstance. Vedanta has the capacity to provide us with this wisdom, which will help us to keep our feet firm and steady. Sri Krishna seeks to give us this wisdom. He seeks to impart right knowledge to bring order out of doubt and confusion. As a result of the teaching, we find Arjuna saying that his doubts are gone and that he is prepared to do whatever he is asked to do. Dadami buddhi yogam tam. But Sri Krishna does not direct him to do this or that. He says, "Thus I have taught you wisdom that is subtler than the subtlest. Having examined it well, act as you think best." The best teachers are those who give the disciples to solve their own problems, never imposing set solutions of their own on them. They never ask their disciples to surrender their independence of judgment. The mention of a great name should not result in the surrendering of our independence of judgment. That is what Sri Krishna would say, and also the great Buddha. In fact, every right type of teacher would say the same. Turn whatever they say upside down and examine it well. Or as Yama says in the Katha Upanishad, go round and examine it well from all sides and from all points of view. First examine the teacher and the teaching and then accept. Sri Krishna used to say this to his disciples. Test me as the money changers test their coins. That is what he said to Swami Vivekananda. How few are the students who can test the teachers and the teachers who can stand the test. We have seen how many of them have the true ring. A true teacher would say, I am here to place the lamp in your hand and you go your way. Philosophy is a lamp that you can take in your hand for a guide through the jungle of ignorance. In the 10th chapter, Sri Krishna says, Dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayanti te. Meaning, I put a little wisdom in the hearts of the seekers by which they find their own way. My function is just to light the lamp. That is the little help we get from outside, but that is more than enough if we can utilize it properly. The true teacher demands independence for himself as well as for the disciple. After all, we create a disciple out of our own mold. If the teacher is a small mold, the disciple who is cast in it will also be of the same type, even though he may have larger capacities. A teacher who is himself subject to confusion creates more confusion in the disciple. So there must be independent judgment. Conclusion. In the Gita, in all its 18 chapters, we are face to face with a philosophy that seeks to impart redeeming wisdom by which people may work out their own salvation. This is its dynamic feature. On our own endeavors depends the taking hold of this wisdom and making something out of it. Philosophy, understood in the Vedantic sense, should not be mere academic study and discussion, but should be closely related to life and its problems, sustained by life and helping to sustain life in turn. That is the philosophy revealed in the succeeding verses of the Gita. Thank you, friends, for your time and attention as we conclude this episode today. In the next episode, we will begin a new chapter. It is called The Central Theme of the Gita, where Swami Ranganathanandaji expounds again with so much wisdom on how the relevance of the teachings of this magnificent text is boundless in its scope, not just spiritually, but also globally. But more on that next time. For now, I wish you well as we close off 2025, and thank you for your presence in this divine space with me. We shall meet again in the new year and continue our reading of this masterful treatise. Till then, this is your host, Preetha Lal. Thank you and namaste.